Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Kathy Tadros, child and adolescent psychiatrist, and welcome to our series, Parenting in His Image, where we are talking about different ages and stages and just the joy of parenting at every stage there is. Today, we're going to talk about age 1 to 3-year-olds and those beautiful, terrible 2s in between as we talk about autonomy and shame and doubt. So I hope you stick with us this episode. Let's talk about autonomy first. What is autonomy? Autonomy is a sense of control, a sense of independence over my own world. And everybody wants to exercise this control over their world, right? Including toddlers. And as we start to tell them no, 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 with everything they pick up to put in their mouth, or when they run out quickly and impulsively, and they start to hear this word no a lot. So as we start to ask things of them, what's going to be the first word you hear from their mouths? No, right? As they start to exercise that independence and control and autonomy over their world. Sometimes as they're learning this sense of independence, before they run away completely and do things on their own, they start to explore. And they want to explore the world around them, but knowing that mom and dad are right there and I can quickly come back to them, right? Much like the prodigal son, actually. So they will start to step away and run about, but they will always take a look back to see if mom is still there, if mom is watching what I'm doing. And sometimes they'll run back and just show mom or dad, did you see what I did? Did you see what I'm doing? Did you see what I found? So happy and so excited to share that with you. And it's so important for them that they know that mom and dad are right there sitting where they left them as they explored a little bit and came back. So let's talk a little bit about play. This is such an important time for play, and it's so important for them to use their hands to learn about different textures, to learn about different buttons and sounds. This is such an important stage with lots of learning, lots and lots of information to process. So in this stage of play, it's often symbolic play. They're not playing with toys necessarily the way the toy was intended to be used. For example, they can pick up a spoon and they can use it as a phone and imitate mom or dad on their conference calls. And they're trying to learn how to use these things. This is completely normal. They're also often engaged in eye contact, showing you, and they're interested in what you're showing them. We start to get a little bit concerned if the child is playing by themselves or not interested to engage in something you're playing with or that you want to show them. So if you're sitting inside the church and you're pointing to an icon, or you're outside and pointing to an airplane and you say, look, there's an airplane, and they're not engaging and they don't care and they want to look down and continue to do what they're doing, often that's a sign concerning for autism. And so it starts to pick up at this stage, and we'll see that. But usually they want to engage with you and they want to see, oh, look at the airplane, and they want to start to pronounce those words. This is also a time for imaginary play, where they are being very creative and coming up with different stories and different, even imaginary friends, and that is completely normal phase to be in. In the last episode, we talked about newborns and infants and all the way up to age 1. And today we talked about from age 1 to 3. Well, let's talk about neuroplasticity and neuronal pruning. What are those things? From birth and even in utero, as your nervous system is developing, you're learning, a lot of information is coming to the brain and being processed. A lot of synapses are being formed, senses are being formed. All this is crucial to the learning process. We gain so much information and the maximum synapses and learning happens by age 2. What ends up happening after that, around age 4 or so, is something called neuronal pruning. This is where if you don't use it, you lose it. So during the stages where the child is learning as much as possible, they can learn 2 or 3 different languages in households that have multiple cultures. They are learning so much, and they're learning how to sit still, they're learning self-control, they're learning when to talk and when not to talk. This is the best time to teach them all these things instead of assuming they're too little to sit still. So I better not take them to church. Quite the contrary, bring them to church and teach them to sit still. This is where they're going to learn to do it. This is the time to do it. This is the stage where we want to make sure that we teach them everything possible and give them all the resources for learning. After that, they start pruning. That means if I'm not using it often, then I'm not exercising it often, then I'm going to lose it. So if you can think about this stage and how cell phones can interfere with this stage in their learning process, how cell phones can interfere with their attention span. Sometimes the easiest thing to do to quiet a child in the grocery store or in a restaurant or in church is to give them the phone to watch, play, and use. But it's actually taking away from their learning experience. The textures, the pretend play, the imaginary play, all of it, their attention span, is going to be lost during the next season of life. So let's do them a favor and try to keep them away from these things. Give them the toys that'll make them more engaged using their creative juices and learn as much as possible. And learn self-control, one of the fruits of the Spirit at this age. Thank you for joining me today. Next time, we will dig into the early years of childhood from age 3 to 5. Thank you.